Page 82. 101 Great Answers to the Toughest Interview Questions. Chapter 5. Are you experienced? Tell me about your work experience. It should come as no surprise that most interview questions will focus on your previous work experience. You've bid your alma mater adieu, either last decade or last week, so what have you done out there in the real world? Many employers think that your past is a prologue to your future performance. If you do have some deep, dark character flaw, they figure it must have shown up already. So be prepared to be thoroughly grilled about every job you've ever had, especially the last 2 or 3. And to stay positive through it all. Let's look at some of the questions you're likely to field. Life is a Dilbert cartoon. Question. Tell me about your last 3 positions. Explain what you did, how you did it, the people you worked for, and the people you worked with. What do they want to hear? Phew. This is a shotgun, in part designed to see how well you organize what could be a lot of data into a brief, coherent overview of 3, 5, 10, or more years' experience. Interviewers who ask this question, or one like it, are trying to flesh out your resume, catch inconsistencies, create a roadmap for the far more detailed inquiries to follow, and evaluate how well you edit your answer to tie in your experience and skills to the requirements of the job at hand. Here is a green light. If you can boast pertinent experience and skills in a brief, coherent, positive answer. If you are cognizant of the importance of relating your experience and skills to the interviewer's job requirements. A clear pattern upward, increased responsibility, authority, money, subordinates, skill level, and so on. Here is a red light. Asking the interviewer my least favorite question. What exactly do you want to know? Answer, what I just asked for. Any answer that is inconsistent with the facts on your resume, dates, duties, titles. You would think no one would refer to a job that doesn't appear on his or her resume, but it happens all the time. And if you hint at such a problem, here's how a good interviewer will make you sweat. Your resume says that you were working at X during 1996, but you just said you were working at Y. How do you explain that? I'll admit to being part of the stupidest interview ever undertaken by an otherwise smart, reasonably experienced person. I spent the first 5 years after graduating from Princeton trying to be a full-time writer without actually starving to death. The only way to accomplish that was to work a series of short-term, part-time jobs, often 2 or 3 at once, while I frantically turned out short stories, newspaper, magazine articles, plays, screenplays, and, eventually, books, some of which I actually got paid for. How many different jobs did I have? Dozens. Some lasted a day, some months, one nearly 2 years. But the only one that appeared on my resume was the 2-year stint at a trade association, because my supervisor graciously agreed to back up my white lie and allow me to claim that it was full-time for 5 years. Within 10 minutes of sitting down in front of the interviewer for a major magazine company, I was blithely discoursing on what I had learned at 2 or 3 of these other jobs. Yes, that's right, the ones that officially didn't exist. I finally realized what I had done, a minute or so after the interviewer had. At about the same time, the interviewer and I both tumbled to the reality I wasn't getting this job or, for that matter, any other potential job at that magazine company. We parted, amiably, though I felt like a small poodle that had been pulled through one too many mud puddles. So don't torpedo your candidacy by detailing jobs, responsibilities, and skills that don't officially exist. It worked for me. Don't complain in any way, shape, or form about bosses, subordinates, or coworkers. Most interviewers will fail to be impressed by anyone attempting to blame everyone else for his or her failures. Even if you weren't at fault, any transfer of blame will not be deemed a positive. Most interviewers will grill you about lateral moves, why didn't you get promoted? And, even more so, clear demotions. You'd better have a very good explanation ready. If you demonstrate an inability to clearly and concisely answer the question and or to tie all the experiences into a coherent whole. Page 84.